Welcome to the second episode of our MotoGP 24 career mode. If you missed the first episode, make sure to check out our debut in the Moto3. Today, we're starting our career in the Moto2 with the speed-up racing team alongside Alonso Lopez. Firmin Aldeguer is with the Yamaha VR46 Mastercam team. We kick off our Moto2 career at the Losail circuit in Qatar. After a mediocre qualification, we start 12th on the grid. As soon as the lights go out, we're startled to see the notification that we have a long lap penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We hadn't realized this, and now we have to pay the price. Despite this, we have a good start and immediately gain a few positions. Within the first lap, we find ourselves in 5th place behind Anshu, but we can see Jake Dixon and our teammate Alonso Lopez pulling away. Our team has set the goal for us to be ahead of Lopez in the championship standings after the first 3 races, but this isn't a great start in that regard. As we enter the second lap, we're drafting behind Vietti and Anshu. Vietti makes a mistake, and we pass them both. We now find ourselves in 3rd place already. With our tires still in good condition, we try to immediately build a gap to the 2 men behind us. The gap to Jake Dixon has already grown to a 2nd. 1 lap later, we're making good progress, and Vietti and Anshu are now a 2nd behind us. As we go through turns 4 and 5, we notice the gap increasing slightly, so we decide to take our long lap penalty immediately, hoping to limit the damage afterward. Returning to the track, we're surprised by Vietti and make contact. It doesn't hinder either of us, but the stewards immediately indicate that they will look into it. Another long lap penalty would be a disaster. In an attempt to pass Anshu immediately, we go a bit wide and see Joe Roberts coming alongside. In an ironic moment, we accidentally give Roberts a good bump while we receive a warning from the stewards for the incident with Vietti. Luckily, there's no penalty for the collision with Roberts, although we'll encounter Roberts again later in the episode. We struggle past Anshu and then start chasing down Vietti. As we come onto the long straight at the end of the lap, we once again dive into the slipstream of Vietti. Slowly but surely, we close in, and as we hit the brakes for the first corner, we pull alongside Vietti. Braking hard, we try to stop the bike, but we fail to hold our line and run wide in turn 1, allowing Vietti to cut back inside. But we don't give up and tuck in behind Vietti again. Through turns 2 and 3, we take a tighter line, aiming to set up our attack for turn 4. We're quite far from Vietti and go for an absolute dive bomb, but Vietti is strong on the brakes, and we have to concede defeat. After the failed attempt, our tires are too worn to mount another attack on Vietti. And as we start the final lap, we need to focus on defending the 4th place, with a group of riders just a few tenths of a second behind us. Fortunately, for most of the last lap, we managed the gap behind us quite well, and so we dive into the final corner in 4th place in our first Moto2 race. A race where a lot happened, and where we had to deal with a long lap penalty. One that I think we took at the right moment, which helped us limit the damage quite well. I believe there's a good chance Vietti would have passed us, even without the long lap penalty. With confidence, we move on to Portugal. From the practice sessions and qualifying, it's clear that we absolutely lack speed on the Portuguese circuit, but we're lucky. The race is in the rain, which levels the playing field for everyone and gives us a chance to make something happen. Despite starting in 18th place, As we enter turn 5, we're now in 13th place. and we spot a small gap on the inside where we aggressively dive in. We rocket from P13 straight to P8. We see many riders struggling with the conditions, and the pack is still close together. A battle with Ramirez, and once again, Anshu follows. As we enter the second lap, we pass Ramirez on the straight and leave him behind. Unfortunately, we run wide in turn 10 and have to start over again. As we enter the fourth lap, we encounter a new opponent, Aldeguer. The young Spaniard has fought his way forward and aggressively joins the battle for P6. The next 2 laps are a continuous exchange as we fight hard for P6. And then, in the penultimate lap, Aldeguer goes wide, allowing Joe Roberts to come up behind us. Just as we mentioned earlier, Roberts would come into play again. The AI is much faster in turns 11 and 12, and in turn 12, Joe Roberts dives on the inside, but he goes wide and practically comes to a stop right in front of us. We clip his rear wheel, and he slides out. Once again, the stewards will investigate. We resume the battle with Aldeguer, not even thinking about a penalty because Roberts came in like a madman. Side by side with Aldeguer, we navigate through turn 14 in the rain, and thanks to a crash by one of the AIs ahead, we seem to enter the last lap in 5th place. But then, the notification comes. Another long lap penalty, and with just 1 lap to go, our hope for a good result is dashed. We try to push as hard as we can to create a gap, but we have a poor exit in turn 8, allowing Aldeguer to come alongside again. In the duel with him, Sergio Garcia also sneaks through on the inside in turn 11. Boldly, we push him aside in turn 13 before taking the long lap penalty. Coming out of the long lap, we see the damage. In the last lap, we drop from P5 to P10, leaving us now 31 points behind our teammate Alonso Lopez. This makes it impossible to achieve the team's goal. It was a fun race with a disappointing ending. Knowing that Portugal is a strong track for the AI and a weaker one for us, we're still going to the 3rd race of the season in America at the Circuit of the Americas with confidence. And rightfully so, as we qualify on pole position, albeit with a small margin, so we expect another thrilling race. We don't start badly, and despite not coming out of turn 1 first, we immediately regain the lead from Vietti in turn 2. While we're dueling with Vietti, we get the notification of a crash, and it turns out to be our teammate Alonso Lopez. In the replay, we see that he's rear-ended, causing him to lose the front end. Unfortunate for him, but good for our championship chances. Back to our intense duel with Vietti. We pass him again in turn 9 and head confidently towards turn 10, and then the hairpin turn 11. Here, we're particularly focused on not giving him the space to come on the inside. We succeed, and Vietti has to slot in behind us. We emerge as the leader out of turn 11 and don't relinquish the lead until we start the final lap. We've led for a full 4 laps with Vietti and Ayogura breathing down our neck, consistently about half a second behind. Just one more lap to go for our first Moto2 victory, but we can't afford any mistakes. Immediately in the tricky turn 1, the pressure is noticeable, and we go a bit wide. We dive down into the S's, but unfortunately, we don't get through there smoothly either. As we enter turn 8, we've managed to keep Vietti at bay despite the messy first sector. But in turn 9, we succumb to the pressure once again, finding ourselves off the racing line. For the last time this race, we dive into turn 11, with the long straight following after. Vietti and Ogura are now less than 0.2 of a second behind us. A good exit is crucial out of the hairpin, but we get on throttle a bit too early, causing the rear wheel to slide too much, resulting in a loss of speed onto the straight. Our luck is that Ogura tried to pass Vietti, causing them both to have less than ideal exits. With the 3 of us side by side, we fly down the straight towards the long braking zone of turn 12. We did it! In the final sector, we find all our confidence back and are ruthless in the duel with Ogura and Vietti. We hold on to the lead through the last corners and clinch our first Moto2 victory. What a fantastic race! However, we expect that with the adaptive AI, the upcoming races will be even tougher. After the race, we get a turning point for the next race in Jerez. Since we didn't achieve our previous goal, we have to step up by beating Ogura in the Spanish GP. Considering today's duel in Texas, that's going to be an exciting battle. Thanks for watching this second episode, and see you in the next video.